All right, everybody. Let's do it. Season 3 at the helm of the Yotes with our negative 100 reputation because I signed Dean Arsene to that cap whale contract. It was fun while it lasted to think we might actually be able to have 2 phones, but that'll never be a thing. Let's see what the boys are capable of this year. Like I said, we're just going to go for it. I'm not really going to do too much about the scouting or try to get those extra points. I'm just going to let it do what it's going to do. And we will see how it goes. We will see. I do need to double check that Mike Brown is the captain of the team still. Although you'd think we were getting close to OEL time, but Mike Brown, you know? He's the man. Let's see, jersey numbers. All right, Captain Brown. The letters go to Chris Summers and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. There it is. It's like the way you play franchise goes against what the game wants. The funny thing is, like, it's not like I'm even doing anything ridiculous. Like, the cap whale thing, I understand. But I also didn't do that for the first 2 seasons, and my rep still went down. Like, I wasn't bothering other GMs with trades. I wasn't offer sheeting people. The only trades I accepted were trades, pretty much the only trades I accepted were ones that were offered to me. But even before that, when I was being more hands-on with the trades, our rep was up to like a plus 21 or some shit. So I really don't understand the logic aside from like, well, when you went to re-sign dudes, you know, instead of offering him 600K, I offered him 900K. And then I also qualified a bunch of my players. It's like qualifying RFAs. Is that viewed as a gigantic negative in this game? That kind of feels like what one of the problems happens to be. Which really doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense, does it? So. But it is what it is. We've won cups before. We'll do it again. Did you trade recently acquired players? Last time, yes, but our value didn't, the rep didn't immediately drop, and then we hadn't done it since, and it still dropped again. So, I can't quite figure out what the situation is. So, and again, I wasn't even really reaching for prospects either. Like, I took a dude who was projected to be undrafted when we were in the 7th round, but I'm pretty sure like every player left on the board at that point was projected to be undrafted. So, I don't get it. Shout out to Anthony Mantha, by the way, leading goal scorer, 6 goals on the season so far. We're 2-6-1, so we're still going to be bad. But man, if Domi and Mantha can play well this season next to Bodker, that would be fantastic. It is a risk, though, like I said, to be playing them at the NHL level. They were both still listed in terms of roles as AHL or depth guys. So this could be a bit of a risk. We don't want to screw things up for those two. But we'll see what happens. We will see. If this stunts the development, then hey, we'll know to avoid this particular situation, won't we? All right, 4-9-1. Fair enough. Noah Rod leading the team as a +2. That Colorado trade gets better and better. Do we trade Domi to Montreal or Toronto? Better than that. We trade him to the team he dreamed of playing for, the Winnipeg Jets. Think the game might interpret signing any RFA as offer sheeting? Potentially. Man, we are bad, aren't we? Lost 6-0 to Toronto. Holy shit. I mean, let's be honest. Of all the teams that Ty Domi played for, Toronto had to have been his least favorites. I can't imagine Max was a pajama boy and like, I'm going to go to the Leafs. Like John Tavares. Which, by the way, I still find pajama boy to be the most hilarious insult of all time. It is so lame that it actually kind of feels like it has some bite to it. Yeah, fuck you, pajama boy. It's ridiculous. And absolutely hilarious. And also, if we're trading Max anywhere, it's to his favorite team he ever played for, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Let's be honest. Hey, Mantha finally got that 7th goal. Pajama Boy versus Piss Boy. We'll find a Peace Spin in again one of these days. It'll happen. The ultimate Piss Boy. The Pizza Boy. I don't know if Ender's still in chat. He might have gone to bed. Piss in your pajama boy. Now, the context of that is you didn't say pajamas. So piss in your pajama boy. No. Napster, there was a player that we drafted on the next gen version named Peaspinen, who was Finnish. And Endo Mills in all caps typed Piss Boy. So that is the nickname that chat continued to roll with for whatever reason. Because it's chat. They're a bunch of fucking weirdos. To be honest. But aren't we all? Aren't we all? Endo. Yeah, pretty much. It's like, what the hell is that? There's a good chance it traces back to one Endurance M. You know? God, we are bad. We don't have any extra firsts this year either, I don't believe. I think it's just our own. So, it's going to be a bad, bad year for us. Done that trip to Russia. Yeah, and how was it? But yeah. I keep this on my desk. I just constantly kind of look at it, and I'm like, yes. Fun. Again, there were some good aspects to it. I've been calling him Indo Ranche. I can see how you'd get that. Little bit of pizzazz. A little bit of pizzazz. Pissazz. Who's to say? We need to go to the All-Star break because we are bad. There's no point in being like, here, let me change the lines or something like that. What's the jersey tonight? World Cup of Hockey. Team USA. Joe Pavelski. The greatest of all time. Joe Pavelski. It's my Halloween costume. You could either say the greatest American player of all time, Joe Pavelski, or you could also say the most horrifying costume, America. Ew. So, Hey, 10 goals now for Mantha. Attaboy. Noah Rod at an even as our best plus minus. That's not good. Patrick Kane, never heard of him. That's a weird way to spell Mike Modano. 17-7-3 for the Habs. Brendan Gallagher leading their team in points. Imagine having a losing record with Carey Price. What's worse, stubbing your toe on a bed frame or a hangnail? Oh, dude, stubbing your toe. Significantly worse than a hangnail. Hangnail is not an issue at all. Just leave it alone. You stub your toe, you go through the initial shock of like, oh, God, that hurts. Is it broken? Is the pain wearing off? Easily stubbing your toe. Significantly worse. You know what's worse for me, as a tallman, is I have hit dead center of my kneecap on a wooden bed frame, like right on the corner. And the worst time I hit my knee that way, I can only equate the pain to the same pain as getting hit in the balls. I had the same effect of just completely taking the wind out of me. I fucking hit my leg so hard. I legitimately thought I broke my kneecap in two pieces. So yeah, hitting a toe bumping your knee or leg or anything like that, it sucks. Being tall and bonking your head off at low door frames. So, dude, again, I always freaking joke, but legitimately, my freaking measured height is 6'2.5". I always just say 6'2". I cannot imagine being any taller. I can't. It is bad enough as it is. Like, getting on and off of planes, the amount of times I have hit my fucking head on the fucking signs and shit like that. Fuck. I legitimately cannot imagine being an NBA player, being fucking Victor Wembanyama. Jesus Christ. What, 7'4"? Just fuck that, man. Christ. Like, I have a hard enough time sitting comfortably in my car to drive at 6'2". Being any taller than this has to be an unbelievable inconvenience. You know, it's like growing up as a wrestling fan, you always hear like, oh yeah, Andre the Giant, his life was fucking hell. You see pictures of him on a fucking airplane, just cramped, and it's like, oh god. I did see Victor Wembanyama's Slenderman for Halloween. It was good. It was good. Getting concussed by airport signs. I mean, I nearly broke one off entering the plane to Vancouver in August. I hit my head that goddamn hard. And then I have to apologize for hitting my own fucking head. So, you know. We have fun here. We have fun. So, the recommendation, don't be fucking tall. It's overrated. Like, unless you're going to be a professional athlete, being tall is overrated. And the only benefit to it, if you're not going to be an athlete yourself, is to then try to have a kid with another tall person. So it's like, well, maybe our kids will be tall enough to be in the NBA. And I'm not marrying a tall person. So it's like, fuck, I wish I was 5'10" at this point. Christ, it would be so much more convenient. So short kings, you guys get, no pun intended, the short end of the stick in a lot of bullshit, superficial ways. But man, if you're like average height of like 5'9", 5'10", don't be jealous of people who are taller. You're fine. You got it made. Trust me. In a lot of ways. Let's double check our trade block here. My dad was 6'4", my grandpa was 6'6", I'm 5'6". Well, I mean, Wheels, you said because of disability reasons. Though. It's not necessarily, you know, not necessarily your fault. I also do know people that have, like, really tall people in their lineage. Like, my parents aren't that tall. But one of my mom's grandfathers was, like, 6'5". So it's like, all right, you know, I got lucky. It's, the odds were against me to be relatively tall. And like I said, I don't really feel like it worked out all that well for me. It worked out in a basketball context until high school. And then it's like, well, I'm not at 6'2", you're not tall enough to be a power forward or center in the NBA. And I fucking suck at dribbling a basketball. So that dream was dead. That dream was dead. I was going to say, Danger, that's one of the few benefits, is you'll have adorable old people just be like, can you please reach the thing on the top shelf? I'm so sorry. And I'll be like, here you go. How much more else do you need? I will follow. I legitimately, I've talked about this. I worked at a grocery store out of high school. And despite working overnights, there's a lot of times where like my last hour or two of the shift would overlap with the store opening early. And particularly on Saturdays, they would be like, old people get the first hour all to themselves. Numerous times I spent half an hour following one individual person, helping them get stuff off of the top shelf. And it was the most satisfying that job ever was. Let me tell you. All right, let's get this nightmare season over with. I had a feeling we'd do a lot of simming tonight. I had a feeling the shortest active NBA player is 5'8". I'm honestly surprised someone 5'8's in the league right now. That's fair. That is fair. So I have no idea how tall my father was because I'm adopted. Well, Jesus. Fair enough, Dimma. Dimma just like, well, here's my family history. Dump it on you. And I was like, all right, I didn't know what the hell I was getting into when I started that paragraph. Brandon Gormley for a first. I'm going to say no to that. 13 goals for Anthony Mantha, by the way. Oh, Max Domi for the Rangers, who he grew up wanting to play for. Nate Robinson was a beast. He was. Yeah, there have been very successful NBA players, 6 foot or under, no doubt. It's just, we continue to develop further into the era of, like, it feels like the average height of an NBA player. I could be wrong. My thought is, though, it feels like the average height of an NBA player is going up, and it's not just because you have, like, Wemby show up and he's fucking huge. It just feels like, in general, the demands of the sport, you know, certainly over the evolution of it of, like, the last 50 years is, I mean, guys who used to be power forwards are fucking point guards now, you know? So, but maybe I'm wrong. It's only been 6'6", 6'7" for 50 years. Fair enough. If it hasn't moved that much. Maybe just the athleticism is changing, so how much weight these guys are not carrying compared to some other people, which has led directly to the idea of, oh, back in my day, you wouldn't have been able to handle the physicality of Patrick Ewing. And it's like, yeah, well, Patrick Ewing probably wouldn't measure up too well to the average athleticism of a modern big man in the NBA, though. So it's a different game. So, Domi Burke and Cologne. Man, Craig Anderson has great value, but I do not want him. I have my goalie. His name is Mark Vizinti. Damn it. Trust in Mark Vizinti. He had 6'6" in the 80s and has been declining for like 10 years. Fair enough. You learn something new every day, don't you? At least you should try to. 2 third-rounders and Mike Brown for Andy Green. Get out of my fucking office. Wanting to trade for Mike Brown. You're out of your mind. That is my captain. The heart and soul of the Coyotes. And you think I'm going to trade him? You're out of your mind. I don't care if the universe is humongous big. You offered him with Matt Cook, who is cooked. Always was cooked. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We have a promotion coming up on this Saturday. Every Saturday is Mustache Mike Saturdays. We just put a fake mustache in every seat for everyone who walks in. It's a lot of fake mustaches. Shall we go back to talking about bruised bananas? Well, according to Dimmadome, it wasn't even a banana at that point. It was just matter. Oh, you're right. It should be Mustache Monday. That's fair. That's fair. Mike's Mustache Mondays. It's fair. That's fair. Mills, I do not need Cronwall. Cronwall is an old man at this point. Well, I traded for him on the last version of the game. I'm not doing it this time. Not this time. The Czech Astrologa. The Czechia. Alex Kaloran leading this team in goals. That's a bad sign. That's a real bad sign. Raph, how dare you? Dean Arsene has an even rating. I don't care if he hasn't played all year. He has an even rating, damn it. No, Cody, it's one series. I'm not restarting it. People are going to get to experience the whole thing on the YouTube side of things. Both versions of 15. As Jesus intended. Trials and tribulations. Enjoy. Oh, goodness. I can't just let Twitch be the only ones to have suffered through. You know? Can I please advance? Can I please? Today. Sometime soon, please. This better be a blockbuster that I'm going to accept, and it won't be. It'll be like 2/3 for Tim. I don't even think we have a Tim on the team. But damn it, we'll find one. They offered Alex Burrows. I might have considered it. Won't consider it now. What's the biggest pet peeve YouTube comment? I don't know if I necessarily have one. And I guess maybe the type of thing where it's like, oh, what about this? And it's like I literally talked about that in the video. Unsubscribing, stayed subscribed. Ooh, that's a good one because there's been a lot of those. A lot. And I still see a lot of those people not only staying subscribed, but actively commenting on both YouTube, Twitter, showing up in chat. As if I'm unsubscribing. No, please stay. Yeah, no, that's never going to happen. Go. It's fine. You go ahead. We'll go our separate ways. It happens in every aspect of life, but especially for entertainment. There are YouTube channels I watched 3 years ago that I don't watch anymore. Channels I watched 5 years ago that I don't watch anymore. And then some channels I've been watching for 10 years and I still like them. You never know. I'm not trading Mike Brown. Yeah, it could be Mike Brown for a first-round pick, and I'm probably declining it. He is our captain. He is the man. The man with the plan. The man with the stash. Gormley's 24. He can still get better. That first-round pick could be anything. It could even be someone like Brandon Gormley. Girl talk, we call those icks. That's fair. That's fair. Trust me, Brianna, I watch enough Married at First Sight with the fiance. I'm well aware of the term ick, especially the Australian version of Married at First Sight. They're all about immediately saying like, nope. You're this type of person? That's an ick. Can't do it. So, it's a fun time. We're not trading Matt Barzal either. You're a cultured man. So, it's funny. There are two shows like that I will watch. Like, I don't watch The Bachelor or anything like that. There are two types of shows like that I will watch. And they're both... the Married at First Sight one is way more dramatic. But then the more cutesy one is Love on the Spectrum. And I don't care who the hell you are... If you don't smile or even potentially cry watching Love on the Spectrum, you got a heart of stone. There's a problem with you. You need counseling. That is the most adorable fucking show in the history of television. It is so adorable. Cooking competitions. I have been known to watch, i.e., a few episodes of the Great British Baking Show. So, I live in Buffalo. I have no reason to smile. Oh, Texky. I don't know what it is, but you always have the most impeccable timing to just pop into chat out of nowhere with a banger. I don't know how you do it. Cody, I mean, a variety. Read up on the show. It's a really good show. He also watches Love is Blind. That's our trashy romance one. That one I can't do. I've been here for 2 hours. Yeah, but you didn't say anything. That's what I'm saying. Like, you time like your 1 to 3 messages a night very, very well. But yeah, Love is Blind for me was like, I can't do it. Ever seen Claim to Fame? I have not. Trade for Mason Raymond. He's going to be in his 30s at this point. Doesn't really fit our timeline. I don't care for shows like that, but man, TLC house hunting shows. I don't watch too many of those either. Fiance 24 won me over on, what is it, Tiny House Hunters? Where people are like, yeah, I need to live in a space that's like 200 square feet, that has a walk-in shower, 3 bedrooms. And every time they're like, hey, we found something for you. It's $700,000. It's like, in Seattle, that's affordable. So, yeah. Gotta love some good trash TV from time to time, Almost as trash as these trade offers. She's a butterfly collector and their budget's $3 million. Yeah, so I collect butterflies, not the ones people would want. And my husband writes the daily Sudoku for the New York Times. Our housing budget is $15 million. Good for them. Good for them. Oh, goodness. Yeah, Cody, fair enough. There aren't too many shows where I'm like, yes, celebrities doing weird stuff. Or I'm just like, it's not really my thing. Oh, the season's taking so long because the last month is freaking deadline. He's a dog walker. I'm a professional sleeper. Our budget's 4.5, basically. Connor Murphy for a dude named Verbeek and Joel Edmondson. Murph might not be getting that much better, but he is going to be better than Joel Edmondson. I don't know how good Ryan Verbeek is going to be. Is that Pat Verbeek's son, nephew? Right-handed Edmondson. Hey, look, EA would never get handedness wrong, okay? Never, ever, ever. Never, ever. Not once. Not once ever would they say, well, hey, this was incorrect information that was reported to us, and then have a player in the game for multiple years with still incorrect information that has subsequently been updated. Never, ever would that happen. Not once. Holy shit, the Raiders just fired Josh McDaniels. I went to Twitter on a whim. The Raiders fired Josh McDaniels already? Oh, he just fucking got there. What the fuck? And last night was the James Harden trade. He just fucking got there. You say already, but I'd argue it's too late. Fair. Oh my God. He gets a season and a half. Season and a half and then get the fuck out. Great, he'll go back to New England next year. I mean, God, he can't be any worse in terms of running an offense than what they have now, so. Yeah, they fired their GM too, Dave Ziegler. Gotta love these 1 a.m. news story breaks. How many coaches are they paying right now? That's a really good question. Hold on. Let's see. Vegas Raiders coaching history. So they're definitely still paying Gruden. I don't think they're still paying Jack Del Rio. So it's at least 2 until they hire a new person, then it's 3 coaches that they'll be paying. Which is definitely a recipe for success. That is goddamn hilarious. One of these days, people will stop being like, oh, this guy was good in New England. Let's give him the keys. They'll stop doing that eventually. Nick Foligno, how old are you in this timeline? 29. 85 overall player at 29 years old. For a second, a third, and Ryan McInnes. I am going to say no to that, even though I feel like I shouldn't, but Foligno's just not on our timeline here. We are coming up on the deadline. We don't even have 20 wins yet. Again, we're stuck with 1 phone forever and ever, amen. I still have no idea how the hell I would have gotten 5 phones consistently back in the day. It does not make sense. Just simply doesn't. I did, Cody. I did see it. Warren, I saw that too. Yeah, it's a good start on that topic. All right. Trade deadline day. Again, Foligno's 29, Wisniewski's 32. It just makes our team better, and that's not really the goal right now. In that way. Short term, it makes the team better. We're looking at long term here. Florida Panthers are calling. They really want to give me Tomasz Kopecki, and that's not going to happen. Are there any players that we are interested in giving away? By giving away, I mean trading. I mean, Bodker and Killorn are the same age. If it's not... Those are the two... Sorry, don't even say it. We were already talking about it. You can't break news. You can't break news when we've already talked about it. You're late. Breaking news, you're late. Wow, Stalock actually ended up getting some value because of a stint here. That's awesome. Okay. Are there any teams where it would be worth us saying, you know what, Bodker, Killorn, they're not it? Let's see, Boston's moving on from Keegan Colasar and Halabi. 2 4-star forward prospects. That's not too bad. That's not too bad here. Let's treat this deadline seriously. Not that we haven't treated other ones seriously, but super serial, as nobody says. So Boston has Colasar, who is a 62 at 19. They also have Halabi, who's a 69 at 21. Buffalo. Actually, I don't know if the Bruins will be able to afford to do that trade. Buffalo, I mean, Chris Stewart doesn't fit the timeline. Calgary doesn't fit. Carolina, Chicago. Colorado, hello. Moving on from Mahou and Chris Bigras. Neither are 4 stars, but they're both 3.5 gold. Or 3.5 green, excuse me. There's also Walsh. Colorado is not bad. With Mahou, Chris Bigras. And again, this team especially would help us out on the defensive prospect front. Anybody else moving prospects? Roland McCown, Ryan Pilon, Ethan Bear. Damn. All right, so LA moving McCown, who is a 76 at 21. Pylon's a 66 at 20. And Bear is a 62 at 19. So we do have options. Which is nice. Montreal, nobody have the value we want. Nobody have the value that we want. Ottawa, moving on from LeBlanc and Henley. 63 at 19, 71 at 20. That's not too bad. That's not too bad if they also want to move draft picks. We'll mark it down. Oh my God, I can't type. There we go. Philly, no. Pittsburgh, no. San Jose. St. Louis. Our boy Barbashev. St. Louis looking to move on from Vanelli. Travis Dermott. Potentially Barbashev as well. We know that Barbashev is the GOAT of this era. Coover trying to move on from the Sedins. Washington is the place to go for forwards from the looks of it. With Andre Burakovsky, Pavel Zacha, and I believe that's Chase Watala. Okay. We got 6 teams on the list. I can't deny that defense is probably the best thing for us to target in terms of prospects because we already have a lot of forward prospects. So that leaves Colorado, Los Angeles, Ottawa. I think we are going to rule out Boston. St. Louis, and then Washington is the place for forwards. But again, we need defenders more, although Burakovsky is really, really good. If we look at defense, me go back and get a little bit more specific. So Vanelli is 3.5 green. Dermott is 4-star gold. And then Barbashev, I'm not as worried about, but he is good. But he's a 3.5 gold as well. Ottawa has LeBlanc and Henley. Blanc is at 3.5 green. Henley is at 4-star gold. So very, very similar. I would technically say that St. Louis is out. Ottawa's combination is actually better, shockingly. So the Blues are out. Hello. I'll leave Barbashev in the conversation if we wanted to target a forward. We go to the Kings. The Kings. Roland McCown at 4-star green. Pylon's 4-star gold. And so is Bear. I mean, LA's probably winning this conversation here. And then Colorado. Yeah, Los Angeles wins. So the LA Kings. I want defensive prospects. I would love all 3 of these players if it's possible. They are not going to have the cap space for me to pull this off. Both these guys are under contract for 2 more years, though. So if we retain salary, do 50% on both of these guys. I should have the space to be able to do it. We might be able to pull off a nice little blockbuster here. If I take Ethan Bear out, it's still a no. I need to take somebody with a cap hit. Matt Green would be perfect. Not that I'm going to move on from Summers. Man, it still doesn't work, huh? There might just be too many pieces involved to make this happen. That is a shame because these LA prospects are really solid. Jay McClements. Are you going to be enough? Is there a way to pull this off? What if we use Fiddler? Damn it. I don't think the Kings are going to work. The cap situation just is not there to pull it off, which is a shame because they did have the best prospects of the bunch. So then we're looking at either Colorado or Ottawa in terms of those defensive prospects. And it's Ottawa. 2 3.5s. Actually, no, it's probably Colorado because of the starting OVRs. So Mahou and Bigris. It's not showing that it's going through. For whatever reason. I don't know why this wouldn't go through, though. It shows them with the cap space. Can I take on Alex Tanguay for the rest of the year? Well, you're already retaining on guys. I mean, yeah. Why not retain and boost up the value that they provide? You know? I mean, sorry, people have been waiting for that for a while. If we also use Keith Ballard. I mean, other guys from previous trades. Raph, I'm not sure what you mean. In all honesty. All right, for whatever reason, I cannot get this this potential Avs trade to work out. It could be, that was my fear. It could be I can't trade both of them to the same team. I'd be losing too much salary if I dealt both. The game caps at 3. But yeah, I'm fine right now. As far as I know. Unless it was the whole trying to retain for 2 different ones. So yeah, it's definitely a cap issue. So if we were to deal Bodker... Okay, I do have to add one other guy to the trade. Tanguay has to be a part of the trade as well. Which is fine. Or not. Or it's not fine. That was green previously. Now it's not. I am very confused as to what is apparently going on here. Unless I needed to add the player back again. Let's use Ballmer. And Summers. Okay. Can use Fiddler there instead. So Bodker, Brett Ballmer, Todd Fiddler. Not that I want to get rid of Ballmer. But he does just literally run around and hit people. Which is fine. But we can get that at any time. I don't believe we have the value to acquire both of these guys. Which is a shame. Especially because we still don't have our own second round pick this year. So Mahou is the guy to get over Bigris at this stage. That probably goes through. We move on from Bodker, bring in the defensive prospects. Bring on some cap with Tanguay and Ballard. Will they do it? No. Wow, I thought for sure they'd take that. RJ Umberger for Colton Bobbick and Troy Donnie. LeCavalier goes to Nashville. That was back in December, though. Carolina's calling. Our first, it's just never going to happen. Let's go back to Colorado here. Again, if we were to go for Mahou, Tanguay, and Ballard. For Mikhail Bodker. Retain 50%, just so that, number one, we keep the salary on our books, and it should boost up the value of him to them. We go back down. We'll go with Fiddler. I kind of want to keep Ballmer. This dude's 22 and only a 71. Westland. I don't feel like I'd have to add too much here. There was Keller, who is unsigned. And there's also Totem. Is that enough? It's fucking close. Oh, boy. I mean, the big question is now whether or not we just keep Bodker, but there is that defensive prospect that would help us a lot. We're not trading for Patrick Marleau. No, thank you. One more time, Colorado. Can we pull off this godforsaken trade? Jake, what's up? All right. Scrolling. So much frickin' scrolling. There we go. Honestly, if I use Ballmer, again, there's value in there that I don't want to use. We'll go with Keller. Actually, we won't go with Keller. We'll go with Totem because he has a little bit more value. We will go with Fiddler. And who was the other forward? Am I insane that, like, somebody's missing? It was a defenseman, that's why. I could have sworn he was a forward. Honestly, then, I mean, I should probably keep that guy and give him a forward instead. So, we will go with Fazzini. Oh, Luca Fazzini. So, Bodker on 50%, Totem Fiddler Fazzini. And we'll throw in the traditional third-round pick. This one from Edmonton to try to land this prospect, Raphael Mahou. And there it goes. All right, so we do move on from Bodker. But again, I felt like there was a defensive prospect there where it made sense to do so. Raphael Mahou can be sent down. 5, 6, 7 with Summers. Arsene is 8. We can send Summers down. That's fine. Then for the forwards, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. With Vestermark in there. And that's honestly fine. Pretty much Alex Tanguay will be able to slot right in. As will one Keith Ballard. Gonna have to dick around a little bit to set this up properly, but it's better than going best lines. So I hope Alex Tanguay is ready to play a lot of hockey because we are going to need him. Keith Ballard as well. All right, that's looking good. Except for the shootout lines, apparently, in which OEL is our top shooter. That's a choice. But all right, we finally pulled off that one trade for a big defenseman. We do still have Alex Killorn that we could use here. We did just sign him. But given we've kind of shifted, like, all right, the highest age of a player that we're looking to have, now could be the right time to use Killorn again. Los Angeles, is there any way that we can land Roland McCown here? I do have to try one more time. If not, looking at the list, it might be worth going back after LeBlanc on Ottawa. Any way we can get this to work. If I take on Green, I give you guys another random forward. Let's give you Victor Olofsson. If I also take Jay McClements. And you guys take Juha Lammikko. Damn it. All right. Yeah, Los Angeles just isn't going to work. But the other super interesting player, it was technically a forward. So we did get a good defenseman. Washington was giving up Andre Burakovsky. And this is also going to be a cap issue. Cap issue because it's Washington. Also, they have Brooks Orpik in the minors. Christ. All right. Washington's not really going to work either. Could go after Barbashev. Let's go back to Ottawa. I think they had cap space. They do. And we were looking at Henley and LeBlanc would be the guy to target. Son of a bitch! How is this? Unless it's a retaining salary issue from me. If I want to take on Alec Martinez. Okay, yeah, it's not a salary issue for me. So we take that horrible Martinez contract. And we get LeBlanc out of the deal. I'm going to have to give up a little bit to get this to go through. That can be shits and gigs where we add Cole Keller. Is there anybody else who is currently unsigned that we'd be all right with moving on from? Yeah, I'm not using Mitch Marner in the trade. We have that handful of thirds. Honestly, screw it. Alex Killorn and a bunch of thirds alongside Cole Keller for this defensive prospect, LeBlanc and Alec Martinez. They said yes. Probably gave them too much. But we did just give up 2 forwards we don't necessarily need long-term. And brought in some pretty good defensive depth to continue to get better. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We do need to call up a forward. Out of the 74s, let's go with Ryan Falkenham. The Falkenham. Best lines there. Now we need a second line left wing. Oh, God. Now's probably the time to go best lines. Unfortunately. Honestly, it puts Domi on the second line. That's fine. I think we're good. So, we'll see if we get another trade that might intrigue us. But, yeah, the next 2 dominoes to fall. Mikhail Bodker and Alex Killorn. But, again, we bring in 2 more defensive prospects to really shore things up. I think we have a pretty damn good prospect pool now on both sides. Some young goaltenders as well. We're pretty much on our way to being where we want to be. And for shits and gigs, we can claim John Moore, too. Why not?